this question, but we're rewarding the bad actors, right?
Yes, we're rewarding bad behavior, and I totally agree with most of what Stanley said. We need to reward those that are doing things right. Yes, but the way to reward them is to keep the government out. Keep them out of everything. To get rid of Fannie, to get rid of Freddie, that's how you reward everybody, because by doing that, you're going to make great strides towards fixing what's wrong and creating jobs. That's how you reward the country and those that are doing the right thing.
I mean, Rick, you make a good point. Stanley has an interesting view on this. I mean, he's saying that the incentives are kind of in the wrong places. But, Erica, at the end of the day, isn't that just going to cost every single one of us more money again?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think we've done a terrible job as a society in rewarding people for good behavior. If you look at Lloyd Blankfein, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, who was one of the key players in the CDS market, he got a $47 million bonus the year before he broke the economy and a $9 million bonus the year after he broke the economy. So our track record on this is not very good in the first place. But actually, we do in some ways reward people for paying their home mortgages on time. There are a few different ways that we subsidize that home ownership choice as a country. One of those is the mortgage interest tax deduction. Another is the break that you get on capital gains, which you don't count as income, depending on what number it falls in. And then an area that nobody really ever talks about, which is the imputed interest tax. So we do actually reward it, even though it often doesn't seem like it. Maybe we don't reward good behavior enough.
Rick Santelli, why don't we just scrap the deductions and the credits and give people permanently lower marginal tax rates? What's wrong with that, Rick?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. However, I think at this point in the game, after all the money that's been spent unwisely, as logical as it is, Larry, I'm sorry, but I think that we need to still put numbers to this and decide if it's something that we should work into slowly, do it all. I'm not sure that we can afford even that at this point. I think the main issue, I'm not going to cloud, is stop spending. Before we do anything, we need to truly start this 12-step process, because until the government admits it has a spending problem, it's not going to stop spending.
So Erica, do you agree with that?
Well, here's the thing. Rick makes an interesting point, and in some ways I do agree with it. The issue is that you've got a plane hurling through the sky. Fannie and Freddie currently do 90% of loan origination, and they also hold about 50% of the mortgages in the country. So as much as we would like to eliminate them, as much as liberal and conservative economists, including the ones who participated in a study that I worked on with the Roosevelt Institute, agree that Fannie and Freddie need to be dealt with, but you can't take the two wings off the plane mid-flight. You've got to ease it down slowly over the next 10 years. The entire housing market would collapse, and the 1 out of 5 homeownerships.
What would be the worst case scenario?
So 1 out of 5 homeowners right now are underwater on their mortgage. We've got about 3 million people who are lined up either in default or about to get foreclosed in this next year. And you want to hear some fussing and some, a revolution in the country? Watch everybody's home values decline by another 50%, which unfortunately, if you took these legs out from under it at this point, you're going to have a major problem.
Rick, respond.
Yeah, Rick Santelli, we haven't stopped subsidizing those that failed. I mean, there's more. There's FHA's announcements. There's HUD announcement. There's
we haven't stopped subsidizing everyone.
When will we stop subsidizing failure?
Erica's right. There's a moral issue here, but I'm a market guy, and all I can tell you is I don't see how we help the people who are underwater if you take the country down, and we can't help anybody.
And didn't you make a good point on this show just yesterday, Rick Santelli, that there's a lot of buyers that want to get into this market?
So here, let me tell you something about this. Is one of these great issues where there's not actually.
Erica, I'm sorry, we're just flat out of time. I'm sorry, Erica Payne. Thank you very much. Rick Santelli, thank you very much. Very spirited. Strategy session begins at the top of the hour. It's a must-see. Gary Kaminsky is here with a hot preview. Hello, Gary.
Larry, I'm here alone because David left me here at the desk. He's working.